Welcome to the explainer. Okay, picture this. 10 people running around a hardwood floor, squeaking shoes, bouncing a ball, sweating. To the uninitiated, it looks like total chaos, right? But today, we're going to look at basketball a little differently. Actually, we're going to break it down as a highly structured game engine, built on very specific mechanics and physical boundaries. Because, let's be honest, if you've ever watched a game and thought, wait, why did the ref just blow the whistle again? You are definitely not alone. It can be incredibly confusing for beginners to parse out the constant stops and starts. So our goal today is to directly translate the rulebook for you. By the end of this, you're going to be able to confidently watch, understand, or hey, even play the game yourself. To get there, we've laid out a clear, logical roadmap to build this complex sport from the ground up. We're going to cover 1. The setup with the court and players, 2. The mechanics of moving the ball, 3. Time and space violations, 4. Fouls and free throws, and finally, 5. Scoring and winning. Let's get right into it. Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1. Setup, court and players, building the engine. First things first, establishing our physical space. The stage for all this action is a rectangular court measuring exactly 91 feet long by 50 feet wide. It's neatly chopped right down the middle with a halfway line. And slap bang in the center of that line, you'll find a small circle. This spot is literally where every game sparks to life. The ref tosses the ball up for a jump ball tip-off, 2 players leap to tap it to their teammates, and boom, we are officially playing. But here's what's really interesting, the vertical scale. At both ends of that 91-foot court, you've got baskets, and they're hanging exactly 10 feet up in the air. That 10-foot vertical target defines the entire physical challenge of the sport. It completely transforms it from just a ground-based running game into an incredible, high-flying aerial battle. With our court built, let's meet the cast of characters. A full basketball roster can have up to 15 players, but, and this is key, only 5 are allowed on the court for a team at any given time. These 5 are broken down into very precise roles: 2 forwards, 2 guards, and 1 center. The strategic beauty of this is that coaches can swap these players in and out as many times as they want during the game. It's a constant shuffle to make sure there are fresh legs out there on the floor. Now, before we start running any fancy plays, we gotta set down some absolute physical laws for this universe. Number 1, no kicking the ball. Like I said, we aren't playing soccer here. Number 2, you can't hit the ball with your fist, so keep the boxing moves at home. And finally, the ball absolutely must stay within the court boundaries. If a team knocks it out of bounds, play immediately stops and the other guys automatically get the basketball. Moving right along. Section 2. Mechanics, moving the ball, navigating the court. So how do you actually move this thing? Well, the ball can essentially only be moved in 2 legal ways. First is dribbling, which means you have to bounce the ball with just one hand while moving your feet. The second is passing, which is just throwing it to a teammate. The really crucial point here is understanding the transition between the two. The second a player puts 2 hands on the ball or stops their dribble, they cannot start running again. They're stuck. They can pivot on one foot, sure, but their only legal options at that point are to pass or shoot. And this brilliantly illustrates why these strict handling rules make basketball a test of supreme coordination rather than just people running wildly with a bouncy object. If you stop dribbling and then start up again, that's a double dribble violation. If your hand slips under the bottom of the ball while bouncing it, that's called carrying. And what if you just take too many steps without bouncing the ball at all? Yep, that's traveling. Commit literally any of these and the ball is handed right back to the opposition. Just knowing these 3 terms will instantly help you figure out why the ref blew the whistle and ruined that fast break you were watching. All right, onto the invisible rules. Section 3, time and space violations, invisible constraints. We are going to go through a rapid-fire sequence of the game's ticking clocks to make these super common whistles easy to memorize. We'll start our countdown at 3 seconds. The key is that painted section of the court right near the basket and free throw line. An offensive player cannot just camp out in there. 3 seconds is the absolute maximum time you can stay in the key. Hang out any longer, and it's a 3-second violation. Next up, the 8-second rule. In basketball, you can't just hold the ball safely near your own basket to kill time. A team cannot stay in the back court, the half containing their own basket, for more than 8 seconds. This is a genius rule because it constantly forces players to push the action forward into offensive territory. Expanding on that forward momentum, we have the 10-second rule. When a team wins the ball back, maybe the other team scored or turned it over, they have exactly 10 seconds to make it completely across that half-court line. If they don't, turnover.
When you're watching a game, you'll actually feel the tension rise when a defense presses high up the court, specifically trying to force this 10-second violation.
And finally, the ultimate invisible constraint, the 24-second shot clock. Once a team gets possession, the clock starts ticking. They have exactly 24 seconds to shoot the ball towards the opponent's basket. Failing to get a shot off in that time frame results in a shot clock violation. And you guessed it, the ball goes right over to the opposition. It totally ensures the game stays aggressive and fast-paced.
Now, let's see how this ties into the spatial rules, specifically the backcourt violation. Once the attacking team successfully crosses that half-court line within their 10 seconds, they cannot go back into the backcourt. It operates exactly like a one-way door. The only exception here is if the defensive team specifically knocks the basketball back over the line. Then, and only then, the attacking team can legally go recover it.
Section 4. Fouls and free throws. Breaking the rules. A massive part of basketball is about who legally owns a spot on the floor. Take the charging violation, for example. This is a player control foul that happens when a dribbler barrels directly into a defender who has already established their position on the court. It proves that, hey, positioning matters. You can't just run over someone who beat you to a spot. Do this, and the ball goes to the other team. It is honestly one of the most highly debated calls among fans watching at home because it all comes down to who got their feet set first.
But defenders have strict limitations too, and the most notable is goaltending. No player can touch the basketball while it is traveling downward towards the basket or if it's sitting on the rim. You can block a shot as it's going up all day long, but once it reaches its apex and starts falling down to score, swatting it away is totally illegal.
So, when a whistle blows for one of these fouls or violations, how does play actually resume? Usually, it's a simple throw-in. If a player violates a standard rule, the team loses the ball and the opponent just throws it in from the sideline. However, fouls committed throughout the game add up. When a team racks up a certain number of accumulated fouls, the opposing player who got fouled gets a free throw. That's a completely unopposed penalty shot taken directly from the free throw line. Almost there. Let's hit Section 5, scoring and winning, the ultimate payoff. And this brilliantly illustrates the simple but highly strategic scoring system of basketball. Basically, point values scale with difficulty. Those successful free throws we just talked about, since they're unopposed, they result in 1 point being scored. Standard baskets scored during live play from inside the three-point arc give you 2 points. But if you can manage to sink a shot from way outside that large three-point arc, you are rewarded with 3 points. Wrapping it all together, here is how a winner is actually crowned. The game time is split up into 4 12-minute quarters. Throughout that entire time, the singular object of the game is to throw the ball into the hoop to score points. The team that scores the most points in the allowed game time wins. Simple as that. If the scores happen to be perfectly tied at the end, no problem. An extra quarter is played until a winner is finally found. So, there you have it. We've taken a game of apparent chaos and mapped out the incredibly tight engine of rules, timing, and physics that actually makes it tick. Which leaves us with one final thought. Will you step onto the court next to test these mechanics out yourself? Or will you just call out the referees from the comfort of your living room with your newfound accuracy? Whichever you choose, you now have the blueprint. Thanks for tuning into this explainer. Keep learning, and I'll catch you next time.